Hey there YouTube, I'm the Tall Nerd, and here I am again. Let's get to it. So today I want to talk about a comic series that I just recently picked up for the first time, called Champions. This is a really cool team-up series from Marvel that I read this first issue and got absolutely hooked. I loved it. In case you haven't heard of it, Champions is about a new team of young superheroes who've decided to break off and do their own thing separate from all of the older heroes in the Marvel Universe. During and in the aftermath of Marvel's second Civil War, yep, there's a second one. So after that happened, some of the younger heroes were kind of disillusioned with how the older heroes would do things. The older generation was very convinced that their job was to fight supervillains, and everything they did revolved around punching bad guys in the face, which, don't get me wrong, that's really cool. But the younger heroes wanted to do more. They didn't just want to beat the bad guys, they wanted to help people rebuild, help pick up the pieces, help clean up the mess that their fights make. This is especially important because after witnessing 2 superpowered civil wars in the course of, what, 10 years or so? The civilian population of the Marvel Universe is not feeling too kind towards heroes. They're distrustful, they're worried that heroes are just going to show up and destroy everything. Again. But when the younger heroes say that they want to give civil service, that they want to help rebuild after their fights, the older heroes just flat out tell them no. They say that they're not construction workers, they're not engineers, they're not first responders like police and firemen, even though they really are. But that it's those people's jobs to fix these things, to clean up the mess afterwards. And they're not wrong, but, I mean, seriously, every celebrity and every politician knows that after you've been involved in a scandal, you need to be seen out there doing good and doing things to gain people's trust. And yeah, the heroes are doing that by punching bad guys in the face and protecting people, but that might not be enough. So in all of this mess, 3 young heroes decide to leave the Avengers. The first is Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel. Not to be confused with this Miss Marvel, who's actually now going by Captain Marvel. Not to be confused with this Captain Marvel, who's owned by DC, not Marvel. Comic books are confusing. Anyway, she's joined by Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and Nova. Honestly, I don't know that much about him. They then recruit the Hulk, not Bruce Banner, but Amadeus Cho, the guy who absorbed the power of the Hulk from Bruce Banner. Again, confusing and weird. They also recruit Vision, the daughter of the Vision from the Avengers. Eventually Cyclops also joins them, but that's a different thing. Also, not normal Cyclops, past teenage Cyclops who was brought into the present, and I'm not even going to get into that. So those are our main characters, and as the title might suggest, they go by the name Champions. Though not really by choice, not directly at least. At the end of their very first adventure, Miss Marvel gives a speech about what they want to do. Not just fight bad guys, but help people put their lives back together. They want to be an inspiration. They want to help people rise above their circumstances and just have better lives, rather than just concerning themselves with defeating evil. And during that, she mentions that they all need to be champions of this kind of cause, and lo and behold, a hashtag runs wild through the Marvel Universe, with tons of people saying that they support the Champions. So, that's how they got their name. So aside from the name, I think that something really important that comes out of that speech is the core concept behind who the Champions are. They're a young, diverse team of heroes who are determined to make the world a better place, not just by fighting bad guys or the ways that we normally think of heroes acting, but also in fighting against injustice, inspiring people to fight the good fight wherever they are or whatever circumstances they're in. So I've only read the first 5 issues, but they've accomplished a lot in just that amount of time. They've saved people from human traffickers, they've encouraged and helped rebels fight against a terrorist, extremist group that's been invading their country. They've helped people to find the courage to speak up against a sheriff who's a complete and utter bigot. There was also that one time that they had a bit of a misunderstanding with some Atlanteans and might have almost started a war with them, but shh. But the thing that's most interesting to me about that list that I just mentioned is the fact that in 5 issues, they haven't actually run up against any supervillains. Not one that I can think of, in fact. It's all been about helping and inspiring people to do the right thing. The closest they've come to a supervillain was the bigoted sheriff, but he's not a supervillain. He's not a good person, he's a terrible dirtbag, in fact. But that doesn't make him a supervillain. So of all of the comics that I've read up until this point, what he hasn't told you is that he only started reading comics recently, within the last couple of months. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt. This might be my favorite series so far. It's fun, it's lighthearted, there's a youthful energy to the characters that's just really inspiring and invigorating. And I actually like the fact that they haven't run into any supervillains. It's just very telling of the times that this is the kind of superhero team that we need right now. Not necessarily to take out all the big bad guys who might swallow the earth whole, but to fight against the little injustices and to show people that there are still heroes, there's still justice to be had, there are still people who will fight just to make the world a better place. So that's Marvel's Champions, and if you're at all interested in comic books, or if anything that I've said sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend that you find it and pick it up. It's awesome, it's a lot of fun, and I think that you'll have a good time reading it. But before I go, it's time for my thing of the day. Is that really what I'm going to call this? Yes it is, because you suck at naming, so just get on with it. Summer Night by Jim Butcher. This is the 4th book in the Dresden Files series, and it's tons of fun. It's all about Harry Dresden, a wizard private eye who goes on all kinds of adventures with nothing but his wit, his sarcasm, and a little bit of magic to help him out, solving all kinds of supernatural mysteries that go on in and around Chicago. This book in particular is tons of fun because this is Harry at his lowest point so far in the series. He is at the end of his rope. There are so many factions all around him, all trying to find a way to kill him. And all he has is the same wit, sarcasm, and just complete disregard for authority. Those are his only weapons, and somehow he has to find his way out of this mess. So if you enjoy fantasy, especially fantasy that takes place in the real world, you know, monsters and demons and fairies and wizards running around a major city like Chicago, you're really going to enjoy this, and to be honest, it's one of my favorite series. Anything that Jim Butcher writes, I'm pretty much on board to read. I've yet to read a book from him that wasn't excellent. So that's my suggestion for today. And now that's everything that I have for this video. Thanks for sticking around and watching, and if there's anything that I can do to make these videos better, please let me know. But until then, you guys have a great day.